meeting for Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. I'd ask everyone to please rise and state the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, could you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Grinsley. Mr. Sylvie. Here. Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
And Mr. Ferrucci.
Here.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a quorum to conduct business this evening. However, because we do not have a fourth here, if someone comes before us with a petition, it must be unanimous to pass. If one of the board members votes no, it will not pass. And because we do not have 4 board members, the petitioner for VA 22-8 grass fence height variance will be allowed a continuance until next week if they wish to seek one. If they don't wish to seek one and still would like to go forward this evening, by all means we can do it, but your vote would have to be unanimous for it to pass.
Does the petitioner understand that?
Yes, I have one question. When you have 4 members, how many votes does it take?
3.
So it's the same.
Correct.
Wish to continue.
You'd wish to continue? Okay.
Very good, thank you. At this time then, I'd like to seek a motion for approval of the previous minutes from April 27th, 2022. Do
I motion to approve the minutes.
we have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Very good, thank you. And at this time, I'd open the public hearing. The first matter on the agenda is VA 22-8 grass fence height variance. Bradley Grass is requesting a variance of development standards to allow for an 8-foot privacy fence along his side property line. The site is zoned R2 and is located at 10929 Ridge Court, which is generally located off Fall Creek Road, northwest of Geist Reservoir in the Fall Creek Estates neighborhood. Mr. Grass, are you here?
Yes.
Could you please approach the podium, sir, and proceed with your petition?
First of all, I'd like to clarify, looks like I've got a grass fence, but it's not. Sorry. Anyway, last summer, my adjoining neighbor did some renovations, including renovations, and put a storage container up and so forth. At that time, I thought I'd get a fence, a privacy fence put up. I called the fence company. Well, I got a survey first, and then I called the fence company and called a couple because the first one we couldn't get any fence, any boards. But I got one that came, looked it over. I said I'd like a 6-foot fence. He said, "You sure you don't want an 8-foot fence?"
Sir, I'm going to stop you just for a second. I think Tyler needs to approach the podium and turn on some electronic aids for you.
I don't have to say it over again, do I?
There you go. Go ahead.
Anyway, the contractor I called, I said I wanted a 6-foot fence. He said, "Well, we can put an 8-foot fence in if you want." And I said, "Okay." I didn't know what the ordinances were, so forth. So I didn't intentionally try to violate anything. I wanted to say that. I was unaware of the height restrictions, and I'd like to keep the fence. It looks very well, very good to me, and I think most of my neighbors agree that it's attractive. It, even though it violates the height, it's not visible from the main entrance. It's only in our cul-de-sac, which has 5 homes. It just comes to the edge of my house, so you can't see it from the main road. The one thing that I would argue or like to present that the 8-foot fence is that there's a slope of my yard going back, and from the front of my fence to the end of my fence, there's a 3-foot drop. Well, if I have to take 2 feet off the top, that 6 foot is going to be like a 3-foot fence in the back as far as visibility go, and therefore I could justify really having a privacy fence. I've talked to the surrounding neighbors in our cul-de-sac, and most of them were supportive. I think some of them responded to the notices that were sent out. I do have pictures here, if I can. Am I pressing the right thing? I knew I was there. Ah, push that one. Okay, these are some pictures of the surrounding area here, across my adjoining neighbor. That is the fence, and as you can see, as it goes back, it drops down. This is one that probably illustrates the slope better than anything. Again, you can imagine, and I do have a picture, I drew lines on, but I don't have it, that if you take 2 foot off the top and then you go from the bottom here out the 3 foot, it really reduces the privacy as far as that goes. This is the view from the corner of our entrance street, Carefree. And like I said, that's the only portion of the fence you can see unless you come into our cul-de-sac. Is that it? I keep going through these? But that's my portion. Oh, okay, sorry, I don't want to steal your show. Anyway, I didn't intend to violate any restraints or ordinances, and I don't think the fence is offensive to anybody, and I'd certainly appreciate your consideration in letting me keep it.
Thank you, Mr. Grass.
Thank you.
Thank you. This time, I'd open the public hearing. If anyone is here from the public to speak on this petition, we'd like you to please raise your hand and approach the podium, state your name and address, and proceed with your comments.
Hi, I'm Neil Buchanan. I'm the owner of the property next to Brad's, 10931 Ridge Court. The property, it's barely seen by anyone other than me, and it's really not an eyesore whatsoever. I think it'd be unfortunate if he had to take it down, to be honest.
Sir, are you the gentleman that put up the storage?
Yeah, that's a non-issue, but I'll bring it up. Yes, I'm the one who brought up the storage, and a complaint was made on my storage 3 days after I got it.
Sir, I'm just asking to
No,
kind
my
of put
point
you in relation to where you live.
Oh,
In
yes.
other words, it's very
That's my
helpful to know
storage.
that you're the next door neighbor.
Oh,
with-
okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's all, that's all.
Storage is in compliance, it got, signed off and everything, so I'm good.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else here from the public that would like to approach the podium and speak as to this petition?
My name is Jan Bednars, and I live on the opposite side of where Brad's house, so I can't see it. But I'm also the president of the Homeowners Association, and I've not gotten any complaints about it.
What's your address, sir?
10923 Ridge Court.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and ask staff to present.
Well, good evening. My name is Tyler Folk. I'm a city planner with the City of Fishers, here to present the findings of fact for VA 22-8, the grass fence height variance. Petitioner is Bradley Grass, and he lives at 10929 Ridge Court, Indianapolis, Indiana 46256. The property is currently zoned R2 and is used as a single-family residential lot. Mr. Grass is seeking a variance from Unified Development Ordinance Section 6.18, Wall and Fence Standards. The Unified Development Ordinance allows walls and fences to be a maximum of 6 feet tall when placed along the side or rear yard of a single-family residential lot. This request is to allow a fence along a side property line to be 8 feet tall. Here we have a location. This is the Fall Creek Estates neighborhood, just northwest of Geist Reservoir. The subject property is outlined in red. Here's a more zoomed in aerial photograph of the lot in question. And then here is the site plan that Mr. Grass provided me. The red line there marks the approximate size and position of the fence. Again, it's not a complete fence that encircles the property. It's just really meant for screening along that portion between the two driveways. So as was previously mentioned, in August of 2021, the City of Fishers Code Enforcement received a property issues report that the adjacent property owner at 10931 Ridge Court had installed a shipping container adjacent to their driveway to serve as a storage unit. Code enforcement informed the property owner that the property owner would need to construct a roof and wall around the shipping container to enclose it inside of a shed. In September 2021, Mr. Grass installed an 8-foot fence between his home and the shed to establish screening. February 2022, Mr. Grass received a code enforcement violation for his fence being too tall. And then in March 2022, the shed that the homeowner at 10931 Ridge Court installed passed code enforcement inspection after the required architectural improvements were made. And our building department considers that to be a shed. And so then in April of 2022, Mr. Grass applied for a variance to allow his fence to remain at 8 feet, and here we are. So, public comment. So I have received 3 public comments concerning this variance petition. 1 comment has been in opposition, and 2 comments have been in support. Those comments can be found attached to the staff report for this variance request. Staff has no recommendation for the board. Should the board approve the petition, staff recommends it is done with the following conditions: that the variance is recorded on the property with the county. Do you have any questions?
Any questions, members of the board?
Yeah, I just have one question. Tyler, thanks for your presentation. You referenced the 3 public comments, and I was able to read those. 2 were in support. I just have one question regarding the one that was in opposition. It says in quotes, "I believe an 8-foot tall fence would be visible from the subdivision entrance and from Carefree Drive." I thought I heard testimony from the petitioner that, or one of the other landowners, that it's not visible from the entrance. Can you speak to that point?
Yeah, okay, so let's go back here.
Yeah, there's a picture there that pretty well indicates the only part you can see. It is visible, but just
Yeah, so the one of the photos that Mr. Grass showed, if you look on the aerial photography, that photo is taken from the western corner of the lot, kind of where that mulch planting bed is. Would you say that's an accurate location? So the picture was taken from there, and we can go back and find the picture. Bear with me. So here's the picture in question. So whether or not you can see that from the entrance to the neighborhood or Fall Creek. Fall Creek Road is, 2 lots south. Maybe if you really looked for it and knew it was there, you could notice it. I think you could see it from Carefree Drive, especially if you were southbound on Carefree, but from the entrance to the neighborhood, I don't necessarily know if that would be visible.
Thank you.
Members of the board, any other questions?
no.
I do have one comment, Mr. Grass. I know the gentleman from the neighborhood association is here. If we approve this petition, it doesn't necessarily mean it's been approved with your HOA. So if there's any type of covenants or conditions, restrictions you have to follow with respect to the type of fence, et cetera, you're going to need to go through your HOA. This is just here at the city level.
I think probably is aware of that.
Okay. I want to make that clear. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I would make a motion that we approve petition VA-22-8 with the condition that the variance is recorded on the property with the county.
Thank you. Secretary, do we have a second?
I would second that.
We have a second. Secretary, could you call the roll, please?
Mr. Sylvie,
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes, petition passes. At this point, seeing that there aren't any other petitions before the board, do we have any old business?
No old business, but we do have new business. I did want to introduce, we have a new planner in our department. Her name is Sydney Granlund, and she's in the audience. So you will be seeing her. She'll be taking forward some variances in the upcoming months.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the City of Fishers. You're welcome. Any new business?
Nope, that was the new business.
No new business. Staff communication?
No staff communications.
All right. At this point, take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.